issues. I think it's just a loose cord, though.
Couldn't be. Sounds like feedback or something.
No, I think it's just a loose cord. Got loose cords in this thing. But anyway.
Great. You know, it seems like there's a glitch every time. This is Jimmy Doane Show anyway. We're going to try and get the music back on. Maybe.
Yeah. See?
What are you doing with a loose cord?
It's like it's a miracle.
This place is like jury rigged to hell. I mean,
No.
I don't want
No.
Cameron.
Yeah, that's a super specialty cord. It's its own cord, and these are hand-me-down powered speakers from Apparition Dave, who used to come by.
Okay.
And so elderly and in need of replacement. So.
Okay. Well, anyway, Jimmy Doane Show here. This is Wednesday, the whatever day it is, 17th, I think.
Yeah.
And it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here in Gainestown, Florida.
Yes, as you can see,
Yeah.
4 o'clock up here. So
Yeah,
we're
right.
going to try to do this
4
show.
And we're actually 30 seconds early, so that's okay. Nobody's tuned in yet. Anyway, no problem.
Here's the phone number if you want to call, and here's the Skype number if you want to call, and we'll put you right in here between Jimmy and me.
Okay.
Said it right.
Yep, you did.
Grammar Nazi.
Grammar Nazi. Yeah, I was doing. I did some grammar Nazi stuff earlier today when somebody was talking about babies. You know, the babies were all there or something, and they went BABY''S, and I'm thinking, what?
Yeah, that's right.
So I had to come down on them. You know, see, I didn't know this is wrong. So anyway, first, did you have anything particular you want to talk about first?
Not necessarily first. I got some things, but what do you got?
Well, here's what I got.
Okay.
This is about Obamacare.
Okay.
There's two things that are kind of dovetail into one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Aetna has decided to pull out of Obamacare because they're losing their ass.
Yeah.
Who would have known? Who would have guessed?
Unexpectedly,
they've lost, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on this thing. And I don't think they're the only one that's pulled out. I think a couple of others have pulled out.
Yeah, some of the major ones.
Some of the major ones. And of course, I was listening to Rush this morning, and he says, well, it's all part of the plan. Because now Hillary has come out and said, this is why we need single-payer
Right.
health care. So here we have a government that has totally screwed up everything. I mean, they have just... if you want your plan, you can keep it. If you want your doctor, costs are going to go down. Everything fell apart, and guess what? Now they're going to fix it. Holy smokes. I mean, you're just petrified. You know that you're going to die in the streets because there can be no medicine.
Well, it's not fair, Jimmy. You know they had a cheap and easy to navigate website.
Yeah, well, that was the first thing. For the first 2 or 3 months, you couldn't even do anything. I mean, it's stunning to think that these guys can get away with this.
They're going to double down.
Double down. I mean, but it's at the point of a gun. And they came on, their explanation was, well, we relied too much on the private sector.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
they did not go far enough.
No, free enterprise, down with that. No, they couldn't do it, right?
Healthcare costs were skyrocketing.
Not because of them.
No.
No, not because, no, they didn't do that. So, anyway, but I mean, they swore up and down that your costs were going to go down. And now people are calling up and saying, I'm dying here.
You mean to tell me that just by placing a giant bureaucracy between me and my doctor,
right,
costs did not go down?
Unbelievable. I mean, no, it's hard to believe. Not only that, of course, there was another bureaucracy in the hospital.
Right.
To conform to the mandates by the other bureaucracy.
I'm sure it's just bureaucracy upon bureaucracy.
So it's going to.
I can tell you from anecdotal evidence that my personal insurance rates went from $50 a month to $500 a month in the Obamacare.
That's called
switch.
going down.
Yeah. Mine
in
went
Obama
up
speak.
1,000%.
Yeah, right.
But it included things like eye care for my children that I don't have,
right,
and prenatal care in case I get a girlfriend,
right,
and then pregnant, and
and on and on and on. I mean, it is so. Again, this brings up an old adage. Any government program, whether trade, agriculture, whatever, is more than 2 pages. Obviously, there's tons of mischief in there. People are getting paid, to do the wrong thing. There's that's cronyism at its not capitalism. Nothing to do with capitalism. It's just pure cronyism.
Yeah. Well, I think as soon as enough of the doctor leaders signed on board, the administrative hospital officials or whoever it was, and of course, no Republicans voted for it at all, which
Right.
is interesting.
And of course, we had to vote for it before we could see what's in it.
Right.
We don't know what's in it. No, have no idea. So let's go ahead and pass it anyway, and then we'll parse these 2,200 pages around.
Then our stupid Supreme Court ruled that it was a tax, even though
It said fee.
Yeah, it said penalty.
It said penalty, right?
Even though expressly in the statute, and other express things in the statute, such as
Wave those aside.
the
wave them aside.
the need for the states to ratify individually the payments,
Right.
And adopt those procedures. But no, like you said, they were all waved aside in favor of the socialist mandate, which,
Right.
lo and behold, is
I like that. No, behold and lo.
Yeah.
But it
It's
didn't work out
panned
exactly
out
right.
perfectly.
I mean, almost exactly the opposite of what was promised.
what?
What? Yeah. That'd be, I mean, you sit there and you think, and when she says basically, we're going to take on the health care and make sure blah blah blah, and you've just got to run for the hills, flee, get out of here, do something.
Yeah.
Go fast, run far.
We're going to take on healthcare. I was there making a speech a few months ago, and I told them straight up, we're coming after you. And then they paid me $350,000.
Right, that was another thing. So anyway, they said United Health Group also and Humana apparently they also plan. Fortunately, at least so far, Medicare has not been affected that much.
Mm-hmm.
It probably will be. I mean, I need it, of course, because of my transplant.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the bottom line is that we
Swing and a miss.
We could see this coming, and it's just so funny that the guy you almost drowned by holding you underwater. This time we're going to hold you under longer.
Yeah.
And so you just this is unbelievable.
Well, it makes perfect sense from a logic standpoint. If they're already in the tank for that endeavor,
Literally in the tank.
if you believe that these guys are just going to take care of you because you send a bunch of money up to Washington, then it makes perfect sense that you would believe them. And if they say that wasn't quite enough,
Yeah, right. It's never enough. And of course, what gets me is they point to these countries like Great Britain and Canada. Oh, they're perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go talk to somebody who's had to have something reasonably serious.
Well, I
they
mean-
come to the States. Appointments 6 months out, 4 months out for stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you die literally. This is like the veterans here. Like the
Right.
veteran. Now you want to see a socialized system, a single payer system.
Mm-hmm.
Go and look at the Veterans Administration.
well, there's
here.
no backlogs or anything there.
and no corruption. They write this stuff up when they submit their reports. They had the big hoorah out in Phoenix or someplace where they were, fudging all the statistics. I mean, you
Yeah.
only have to look and say,
Everyone served 30 minutes or less.
30 minutes or less.
Or your pizza.
I went down. I spent a month learning Spanish down in. It was either Costa Rica or Guatemala, one or the other. I forget which one. But they had universal health care, universal medical care.
Mm-hmm.
The medicines, literally, the day I got there, I was down there, came down on a Saturday. The day I got there, that Monday, the health care provision ran out on prescriptions. Literally, when you took your prescription, which you'd filled last month, fine, they said, no can do.
No
We're
mas.
bankrupt. We are bankrupt. We can't afford it. Anything. Nothing. So they had the
I mean to
right.
say putting something out there for free or under cost has an effect such as to drain the supply of the thing.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, there was a little bit of a scandal and everything because there was some corruption involved. But my point is, what did you expect?
Right.
I mean, all these people were showing up the first Monday of the month or whatever to collect whatever the prescription was, and the door, sorry, we're out of whatever you want.
Look, all you have to know is that the right to free and excellent health care is assured in the Iraqi constitution that we wrote for them and left in the rubble there.
Right.
And
in the rubble is true, right? Well, even here, I mean, when you start to pass rights, again, we talked about this.
yeah,
yesterday.
you can't do that.
Well, you can take them away as easily as you pass them. And for instance, well, I mean, although I will say we had a constitutional amendment, this was several years ago. I ranted about this then, that now that you have a right to a free, a substantial education, a quality education.
Right.
You have a right in the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I said at the time, this was like 4, 5, 6 years ago when they did it, I said, class action suit, I see it coming tomorrow morning. Well, they took a little while, but now they've started to sue and said, my kids didn't get a good education. Well, no, you can't pass something like that you can't do. So,
yeah, well, you can pass it, you can try, but the fact is that
it's a government.
It's a giveaway. It's a charity.
What I say is, I always say this: please, tell me a government program, just name one, that has succeeded perfectly.
Well, I mean, it's a little unfair.
Yeah, I know, because the answer is zero.
Well, there's a lot that you can point to the success of. Let us just say they actually did things. The question is, was it efficient? And is it sustainable, is the other question.
That's the other thing. And most of the stuff's not sustainable.
It's totally unsustainable.
Yeah, because they have no way to maintain anything.
Right. Well, because the right to health care implies that the government is going to force a doctor to serve you. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to do that.
Right.
So the only way they can get the doctor to serve you is to pay the doctor, which means that they are mandating basically just money to you. And that has a limit in reality. Well, because they have limits on the amount of money they can collect through taxes.
Well, exactly. And of course, they just go up. Instead of $50, it's $500. That's number one. But the other thing is, as the doctors, they have to cheat and lie now. They've got this huge multi-page coding, and they have to upcode. I mean, they just have to. and a wart is a precancerous something or another. I mean,
right.
It's just on and on. I mean, they have no choice, or else they're going to starve to death.
Well, I don't know how much choice they have, but there's certainly an incentive for them to cheat, an incentive for them to upcode, as you say, because who's checking? I mean,
they do check, and of course that's
sure, but they
arbitrary.
They check it 1% or some kind of
Well, it's all arbitrary. They have some bureaucrat.
You're not checking. The person who's receiving the care is not checking,
right.
Which is how it would work in a normal face-to-face transaction.
Exactly.
And I remember last time I went to the doctor, and I went up to the little girl and I said, "How much is it?" And she said, "I don't know." And I said, "You don't even know how much it is?" She said, "No, we just send off some stuff to the insurance people." I said, "Well, how am I going to know how much my insurance company paid?" And she said, "You're just not." I mean, it's just so disconnected. I ended up getting a bill for $500 for a sports physical, like a $50 item, something. Walk in there, and it's over. And it's $500 because there was 47 people that had to go through until it got to everybody had to get paid, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Well, I feel fortunate because on Medicare, all I care about, which is probably the wrong thing, is the copay. I mean, I went today, for instance, and got a complete eye exam for an hour for $40.
If they're going to give you free money, you should take it.
Well,
there's no. Why wouldn't you? I mean, we're on the outside here. I mean,
No, I mean, this is another...
And that, by the way, that's not hypocritical, okay? Hypocritical would be advocating for that, okay?
Yeah.
But no, we're not. We're saying, go ahead and cut that if you want. But if you're giving us the money, we'll take it because that's just a smart thing to do.
Well, except here in Florida, Governor Scott, to his credit, as far as I'm concerned, although he got pilloried for it, he refused the Medicaid expansion. Because, once again, if you take the Queen's...
Right.
sovereign or whatever, you do the Queen's bidding.
Right.
And so once you're in the maw of the government, those jaws will close in on you. They'll change. They'll move the goalposts. They'll change the rules.
Yeah. Well, and that's the slippery slope there when you get in bed with the devil there.
Slippery. That's a cliff. I wish it was only a slope. This is the snowboarding over the cliff. So. Anyway, can we move on?
Yeah.
So
Let's
we'll do a quick break here.
Dun, 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 and we're back.
Okay, why don't you take yours now?
Okay, so this is something I just saw it in today's paper. Had to bring up. There was a fire department in Poughkeepsie. Okay, held a ceremony where they removed the flags from their fire trucks.
The American flag.
The American flags.
Yeah, not a fire flag.
No, the American flags from their fire trucks.
But now they had put them on as a patriotic thing, or?
Yeah, they were asked to display these flags by the flag people or whatever.
Well, no, it's actually by the firefighters union.
Okay, whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
So somebody who likes flags,
right, and
asked them to put these flags on there. Okay, and they did, but apparently they put them on the wrong way. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, there's, as you probably well know, there are quote unquote rules for handling the flag.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah. You know, you can't step on the flag. You know that, right? Of course.
Burn it or anything. Of course, that's been thrown out.
Overturned, right? And that's what I'm getting at here. Okay. See, here's the situation.
All right.
There are these rules that people maintain, like these flag people, for the flag. Okay. I got news. There is no such thing as the American flag. Okay. There are American flags. I have some, and you have some. And what I do with mine doesn't affect what you do with yours. I can take my flags in a room and do all kinds of crazy stuff with them, and doesn't affect you at all. Okay, it's a piece of property. It's not an icon.
I love it when they make these little bikinis up.
Well, you can't do that. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes, you do, but
you
they
can,
do.
and you do, and that's what I'm getting at, is you should be able to do whatever you want with the stupid flag, okay? It's my flag as much as it is their flag. Nobody owns, that's why I say nobody owns the flag. You own your flag.
Okay.
And if you want to treat your flag with little gloves and everything, and make sure it's perfectly folded and doesn't get molded or anything like that, and
no
hoist
rain,
it up, right?
take it down
halfway, and
yeah.
all the business that you want to do with it. That's your flag. That's the whole point, is you can do that because it's your property, and we have rules to protect your property. But you don't get to say what I can do with my flag, because if you could, that would be like giving it religious quality. Like it's some kind of an icon, like the image of Muhammad or something. Oh, you can't draw Muhammad. Bullshit! I can draw Muhammad if I want to, okay?
But I kill you!
Yeah, right! Well, you can try that, but it's against our laws. There's nothing that we can do, ostensibly, with icons and images and expression that should be able to provoke violence. That is to say, we don't allow people to infer such harm and negativity and offense that they can then justifiably act violently towards people. Okay? There are no such thing as provoking words in our laws. You don't get to say,
It's
well,
inciting a riot.
yes, that's right, and that's a bullshit law.
No, it is.
Okay? And because it's bullshit. That's bullshit. If the people go and riot, then you arrest the rioters.
Yeah.
Okay? And, you know, the guy who went up there and said, hey, maybe y'all should go down and riot, he doesn't necessarily need to be arrested, because maybe he was just joking the whole time. And there are cases like that where the person is joking and then the people go and do shit. The point is that there should be nothing that you can say that people
Can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
And again, bullshit rule.
Bullshit, I agree.
If you've ever been in a theater when when the fire alarm has gone off.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Well, but people don't trample each other. Everybody looks around.
Well,
I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah. It's
not like 1960s. This is not London Bridge. You don't have to start running and get out. You know, you don't have to. There's plenty. We got sprinklers. We got firemen. People look around for the smoke. So there should be nothing that you can say that people need to react to and can justifiably get violent after that, okay?
Okay, right.
You know, I can say the N-word if I want to. I can say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
And you can't say, oh my God, you just said that, I'm going to go kill somebody, and that's going to be okay. Or I'm going to go riot, and that's going to be okay.
What if there is a fire in the crowded theater?
people will get out. They'll
I know.
make it.
I know. That's what I'm
And
saying.
you wait for the guy to run in who's on fire, or there's like some smoke around him, and he says, everybody get the hell out of here, you know? This whole place is a powder keg.
And then he gets arrested.
Right. Well, now if you did that, if you dressed up and lit yourself and had the smoke and everything, then I could see you could make a case for some sort of fraud or some sort of inciting a riot. Maybe yeah. Well, I mean, what you give him like a day in jail or something for that. I mean, but look, nobody's gonna trample. Nobody's going to get out of control, and nobody should react. If I want to burn my flag, I should be able to burn my flag. It's my flag.
You're going to hear about that. So anyway, so what happened was apparently it was like the city council or the county council that ordered them to take it off because the fire department is a county entity.
I don't even know.
I think that's what it was. In other words, one group said go do it, and then the guys with the guns said take them off.
The only thing that I read said that they didn't disclose the reason for the removal.
No, they didn't disclose, but it was who said.
Right, you're right.
It was a government agency.
Right.
Right away, you're talking violence.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
but I don't understand. I mean, they are the flag. I mean, what are they? How is it? It's insulting to them that the flag was, I guess, pasted on the back as opposed to waving in the breeze. It was improperly displayed in that regard. And yeah, exactly. That's my point. Is look, man, it's my flag, and they cited something like traffic distraction or something like come on,
like the fire truck itself.
Exactly, that's what I'm getting at. Like I'm sorry,
from a mile away, monster thing.
That truck have a flag on the side of it? Yeah, no, I don't think so. That's not. The distracting part of the fire truck is not the decoration on the side. All right. So this is just ridiculous to me, and to me it highlights just the religious zeal that these flag people have for the flag. That call themselves the flag people. That is, they think they know the right rules for the flag. No, I'm telling you, I know the right rules, and your rules are wrong. So there.
But I mean, if you don't float it in a little triangle, you're not unpatriotic. We hate you.
Yeah, I crumple mine into a ball and I throw it in the corner. Okay, right. And because it's my flag.
That's right.
So there.
So okay, you ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I'm showing my logo after that one.
Okay, good.
Okay, and we're back.
Okay, good. This is a little bit of a follow-up to the first thing that we did about Obamacare. And this is Clinton names Obama veterans to White House transition team. The new boss is the same as the old boss. I mean, are you kidding? Look into the latest groundwork for her presidency if she wins the White House in November. Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton named several veterans of President Barack Obama's administration.
Choice words there, veterans.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly, as if they're veterans.
Right.
So anyway, they go through and name some of them, but the people that are naming these... Ken Salazar. Now, some of our viewers don't know these names, but we're political junkies, so we recognize the names on a lot of this stuff.
We have no life, so you can have a life.
That's right. That's right. Ken Salazar, former Interior Secretary and U.S. Senator from Colorado, will lead the team of 4 co-chairs, including one-time National Security Advisor so-and-so and so-and-so, a former Obama aide, who now leads... Get this, the Progressive Center for American Progress think tank. That's what they get paid to do. Okay, that's their job. Progress. Is a think tank. They get to go there and just, I wonder, what do you think? I don't know. I'll Google that. That's what they get paid. Other co-chairs are former Michigan Governor Jennifer Granholm, Maggie Williams, the director of Harvard's Institute of Politics. Now, I mean, an Institute of Politics. Realize that all politics, don't get me wrong, there's office politics in the corporate sector and so forth, but they don't have guns. The people that do politics in the government, they're in the gun club, so to speak, because when they make any kind of a rule or suggestion, they expect it to be enforced at the point of a gun. I mean, every rule, regulation, whatever it is, law, always at the point of a gun. So anyway, so the announcement came as Clinton has gained momentum through the opinion polls. She is also, Clinton has been a former Secretary of State, all her great qualifications, Benghazi. Anyway, apparently this guy, Tandon, who played a key role in shaping Obama's health care overhaul, is a longtime friend and advisor to Clinton, who worked on her second Senate campaign. So he's going to be the transition for the health care, I guess.
Well, yeah, she's adopting his policy. I mean, she's trying to ride the wave here.
It's like it is stunning to me when
hope and change.
Well, hope is not a business plan. I'm sorry. Hope is like a wish.
What about change?
Well, there were some changes, all right. I mean, the country went $9 more trillion in debt, which is, being waved away as we can all by Krugman and people like that.
I don't know if that was a change, though. Bush was doing the same thing.
That's true. You don't know you don't know how much more if who do you run against? McCain?
Right.
Well, he's a neocon, so you could have seen.
Because we'd have had another big war or two.
Yeah, that's right.
We'd be doubling down in Iraq and Syria. And
yeah, we really take him to task this time.
That's right.
So anyway,
really give him a democracy.
Yeah, that's right. Woodrow Wilson. I'm going to make the world safe for democracy, and it's going to take only 100,000 troops to do it.
That's right. Ian Chamberlain.
So anyway, Heather Boushey, the executive director of the Washington Center for Equitable Growth.
Equitable growth.
Yeah, not just this is Washington Center will be the chief economist. Okay.
Equitable growth.
And so Boushey has advised the campaign on economic.
Wait. I gotta get back to this Equitable Growth Committee. Hold on a second. That's gotta be a euphemism for race, isn't it?
No, I don't see it. I think it's just it is poor people. Level out, instead of trickle down economics, we're going to grab the money from the rich and force it down to the poor people with a small brokerage.
Like is that like a
small
is
business
it gentrification or anti-gentrification? I mean,
don't ask questions like that. I mean, it sounds good,
I'm just trying to understand. Yes, it's like growing from the middle out. I mean, it really, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because,
no, there's way dumber things.
Well, it was really dumb because what had happened is they had already used up from the top down,
right,
and from the bottom up.
Right.
And so he couldn't do either one of those, so he just chose from the middle out, which makes we're going to grow the middle class, and that's going to grow everybody, and kill the rich and forget the poor.
Yeah, right. Well, that the rich are not going to. Even she paid
growing the middle
34%. She released her taxes. It was 34% she paid to the feds, which is a pretty high rate. But of course, that meant she kept about $6 million to live on, to scrape by, I suppose.
They broke.
Anyway, and then of course charity to the Clinton Foundation. Okay, good. So transition teams oversee personnel appointments and help develop administrative framework during the period, the whatever it is, the lame duck, and. Turns out that Trump has to pick New Jersey Governor Chris Christie to over his own transition team. So,
Christie, really? He picked Christie?
Yeah, I have no idea why. Establishment Republicans are scared to death by Trump's inability or unwillingness to rein in his provocative remarks.
Establishment.
The establishment.
Like I had the unknown names. It was that Paul Ryan or Mitt Romney. I mean, who the hell is the establishment?
Those are the ones. Mitt Romney and the head of the Senate,
right,
and the head of the House, and
Turtle Man.
Right.
What's his name? Yeah, Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell, no chin.
Right.
And that's but these are the people that would rather have Hillary.
Well, interesting. I don't want to skip ahead. You had one article in there from the Wall Street Journal about Trump needing to get out. You sent me one thing.
Okay.
And it said Wall Street Journal said a leading conservative voice. suggests.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know who it is.
Right, it's just so funny that they would put that in there. Like, who is the leading conservative voice these days?
Yeah.
Whoever it was, they got their butts kicked in the primaries.
Right.
They're not leading anymore.
No.
I mean, it's just such a Weasley way to say somebody we want you to trust. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. An anonymous source.
Right, anonymous source, but very powerful and intelligent.
That's right.
And trustworthy.
That's right.
I mean, why don't they just say that?
This is a Wall Street Journal. You
I
just
know.
sit there
What
and
the hell happened?
But it has gone downhill so much in the last 20 years. I mean, I used to have a subscription in the 60s and 70s. And
I remember you could read the front page of that, and it was real journalism.
Real journalism, and the editorials were pretty good. Mm-hmm. But boy, they've gone off the rails. I mean, I don't know. Did Murdoch buy it?
I don't know. I'd have to check and see. That's what it sounds like. Somebody bought it. You know?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Bought it.
Okay. Well, I'm done with that.
Okay.
So, do you want to have a break? Or you want
sure.
to move
Yeah.
on?
Dun 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 dun. Hey, Jimmy.
Okay, this is kind of an interesting thing that shows you the taunting. That I may have mentioned this previously, but U.S. tanks join Polish.
Oh, yeah.
Did we talk about it?
No,
already?
no.
The U.S. tanks joined the Polish parade in show of military presence. Now, this parade, you have to understand, this is U.S. military tanks. Okay, they have a base, I guess, in Poland now. And
Yeah.
and they're starting to put some little missiles and stuff in, which borders Russia.
Right?
Not
Yeah,
provocative.
how far from the Russian border is this parade?
An inch. I don't know. It's right there. Let's see. In Warsaw. So I don't know how far Warsaw is from the thing, but it can't be that far because
No.
country's the size of France or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point is that this taunting. I mean, what are you thinking? Why would you do something stupid like that? Taunting you. I fought in your general direction.
Yeah.
I shall taunt thee another time.
Well,
Whatever.
this has got to be the well, I don't know. My first instinct would be to think that the Polish leaders said, you guys, need to roll some tanks with us or something because we don't. It's going to be 14 guys in a half track if you're.
No, they've got more than that. I mean, but the point is that I get is Poland of all countries has a history of being betrayed royally. By the way, I mean screwed.
Yeah,
I mean totally screwed.
Yeah.
There was a promise.
Yeah.
And I mean.
So you guys want Poland? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would sit there. And of course, I think they're in NATO now and everything. And
Yeah.
I would have run screaming to the hills if somebody had said an alliance with the United States or with NATO, for God's sake.
Right.
Well, I mean, the history.
This time it's different.
Yeah, this time it's different. I mean, I won't say it's short memory because that stuff happened during the Second World War. But the not corruption, but the betrayal.
Right.
Was of legendary.
Yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't get any more betray.
And of course, when they complained about this, they said, I'm sorry. And I didn't even say we're sorry. Just, Stalin grabbed his part.
Yeah.
And they had to grab the
You
other.
guys were on the wrong side of the net there when
we never lie. I mean, your credibility had just to go up in smoke.
Well, maybe that's the reason for this parade here. There, the Polish leaders gave him that speech, and John Kerry said, "Oh, I'm really sorry about that, and put some tanks over there."
Well, I tell you,
we'll give you a missile shield.
Poland got a look of what they're going to.
And if Russia invades, we will liberate you very soon thereafter.
First of all, we will send
capitulate.
A stern note.
That's right.
The first thing we're going to do is send a stern note.
The wagging finger.
The wagging finger, yes. Don't do that. Poland got a look at what they were going to see a lot of in the future, a U.S. Army
Russian flags. Oh, no, sorry.
A U.S. Army presence that is substantial and going to be ongoing. This is a quote from Hodges, whoever he is, Lieutenant General Ben Hodges, U.S. Army commander in Europe. He says it underlines the increased presence of the U.S. plans to have Poland and elsewhere in the region, and it's going to be ongoing presence. So, which will proceed to advance past government buildings. The parade goes past government buildings, the presidential palace, and
The Russian embassy.
The Russian embassy. Exactly right. The Russian embassy. You're sitting there.
It ends with a big presentation right in front of the Russian embassy.
The continued U.S. buildup in the region will include the deployment early next year, of 4,500 soldier armored brigade that will be headquartered in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
An armored brigade, U.S., whatever. I guess this is the tripwire like that's at the DMZ in Korea or something.
Yeah.
I mean, a 1,000,000-man army is going to, run over the 30,000 people we got there, as they march down to Seoul on foot in less than a day. and of course, the military Russian army.
We'll have a flashing light there.
Yeah, right. Don't go any further.
That's right. That's right. They'll have to transgress a bunch of stop signs.
Right. We'll just put up a thing as a danger zone.
Yeah.
Ask first before. So anyway,
that dovetails into a story that I read about Russia building a bunch of nuclear protected bunkers.
Yes. What is happening here?
They're automating and they're putting the whopper everywhere because they can't afford to pay their soldiers anymore after the gas crunch. So, yeah, I mean, their revenue is down. They get a huge portion of their revenue from oil funds.
Right.
And they took a giant hit over the last few years.
Yeah, right.
And a huge portion,
year especially.
And a huge portion of that budget goes to paying military salaries.
Okay.
So my guess is they're having to automate as fast as possible.
Okay, that could make sense.
And
I can understand that.
So you go full nuclear. You just like I said, you put a bunch of whoppers out there, and
I thought you were talking about the hamburger.
The hamburger, yeah, no. The War Games computer.
That's right.
And
yeah.
And then all you have to do is talk to the computer, play a game there if you really need to launch.
Right. So it's a simulation. Okay, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's just to me this is the. When you start to set up these little tripwire things, I mean you just don't know when it's like the assassination of the Archduke.
Right.
It was a nothing burger,
yeah.
And suddenly it's World War I.
Well, a lot of people will talk about the Germans needed 2 weeks to mobilize, and they knew that the French only needed 3 days or whatever. And now the Russians, I guess, I don't know. I can't remember
Well, the ones that were, it was the Austro-Hungarian people down there that were mobilizing on the Russian border.
Okay.
That's where after the assassination, that was the spark. It was because it was a pretender to the Habsburg Empire, or whatever,
right.
Which was right there. So then the assassination, and then they marched their troops up to the Russian border, and Russians mobilized. Yeah.
Well, yeah. What I remember was that the Germans needed a few weeks to mobilize, and so they knew that their opponents only needed a few days.
Right.
And so they went ahead and started because you got to get going, and they didn't want to get blitzkrieged before the blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
But so. Like you said, tripwires all over the place, and now we're setting them up in the South China Sea as well.
That is unbelievable. I mean, they are going back and forth,
I've heard they were really upset at the international court's ruling that the Philippines owned some of those mineral deposit shoals, basically.
Yeah.
And they basically said, no, you don't. And by the way, we're going to go ahead and just build some military bases.
I mean, of course, this is funny. If it wasn't for the minerals, nobody would get crap. They wouldn't care. And it's all about the money.
Well, and maybe, well,
they said that there are some rare minerals, which we get a lot of from China.
Yeah.
Some of the, the ones that are
make your iPhone light up and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
so anyway, I mean, this taunting. You sit there and you're sitting there thinking. This is like the Cuban Missile Crisis all over again. You put these missiles on the border there.
Well, nothing happened. See?
Yeah. Read that. Watch that movie 13 Days or whatever it was. When they were.
Yeah. Should I push it?
Yeah.
Well,
I flipped off the little lever.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. But I'm with you. Seems a little provocative to be marching all over the place.
Okay. Next.
Hey. Hey, by the way, you guys can call us in right here if you want, and this phone over here will ring.
And when it goes to video, of course, don't forget to share it.
Yeah, share our little video here if you like it or don't like it.
Right. Comment. Give us a review.
Troll us, chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
This was kind of a cute thing, I thought, and actually it has a little bit of merit, and maybe you could enlighten me. It says, quote, "We don't feel safe. Metro Detroit couple sues Pokemon Go." But apparently some of the little Pokemon, whatever, they are in their neighborhood.
Okay.
And they're getting overrun 24/7 by people trying to track down. Apparently they're across the street from some park, and they said their trash is getting overturned and they're getting walked on and they can't get to sleep and everything. So they filed a class action suit against the Pokemon guy or whatever.
Well, there is something to that. That is to say, there's a doctrine called nuisance, obviously.
Right.
And you can set up as a citizen, you can create what they call an attractive nuisance, like an empty swimming pool.
Right.
You know, if you go build a skate park in the middle of a parking lot and then just leave it unattended, guess what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Kids are going to come skate there.
Yeah.
Now, the rule has been interpreted to mean that that's your fault. So
You're as in
the person who built the skate park.
okay.
And you created this attractive nuisance, and now you have a duty to protect the people around it and in it and that kind of a stuff. I imagine you could adopt that or apply that to this situation. Whoever is placing these Pokemon characters has some responsibility. I mean, you don't want to put one like out in the middle of the 405 or something,
Right.
Which is a big 8-lane freeway, or on
Well,
the
they did
top
have one-
of the
somebody
Empire
walked off
State
a
Building.
cliff.
Yeah,
But-
well, and I wonder. I mean, what do? You put it 10 feet out over the cliff, I mean, so that people have to sort of jump for it.
Well, here's the
over
deal.
the alligator pit or something. I mean, what there has to be. I would imagine some
Well, they have a
accountability,
way with GPS coordinates apparently,
right?
so they can wall off certain areas, and I guess that's what they're going to have to do.
You'd have to. I would imagine that there would be only certain go areas that the Pokemon Goes could be found at. That is to say, only on sidewalks and this kind of a thing, because otherwise, like I said, they just appear anywhere out in the middle of traffic.
How close do you have to get to?
I don't know.
I've been meaning to
Must
fire
be
up
a
my
couple of feet or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Within a
Together.
foot, probably.
Anyway, its federal court in California seeks to stop Pokemon from designating GPS coordinates on or near private properties without an owner's permission.
Mm-hmm.
It also seeks to force Pokemon, here's where it really comes, it also seeks to force Pokemon to share a cut of its profits with the residents whose yards and
In order to
streets-
pay for the enforcement
That's right.
and the luxury
Right. So anyway, they have according to the lawsuit, Niantic, whoever, I guess that's the Pokemon guys there, acknowledged placing Pokestops on private property by advising users on its website, if you can't get to the Pokestop because it's private property, there will be more just around the corner, so don't worry. That's their disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're supposed to go there, and there it is on private property. You say, well, we can't get that.
Right. It sounds like it's kind of random the way they place them.
I think that, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't read up on it. I probably should. I'm an old person, for God's sakes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been downloaded 30 million times all over the world, for God's sakes. So, you know, and I get a message every once in a while on Twitter or Facebook. I found the who, whatever it was, you know,
Right.
Australia or someplace, out and back. You know, these guys are, you know, they get their
Right. It was right in this crocodile nest. I mean, how do they determine, that it's not in a dangerous location? I mean, that's I guess what the suit is about.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. And it's sort of they got the damn things are designed by GPS coordinates anyway. It seems like they have a responsibility to make sure that you don't end up where you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And one of those places is private property.
Yeah. No, I would think that what you would do if I were the Pokemon guy and I was placing them, what I would do is call up businesses everywhere and say, "Wouldn't you like a Pokemon in your store?"
Right.
and by God, here's a nice rare one for you if you're willing to really pony up.
Yeah. Now that's good. That's the free market at work, and you're exactly right. That is the way to do it.
And then the mall, they're all over the mall.
Yeah.
You have kids flocking there and going in and doing okay. There you go. And look, there's something for sale right there.
Yeah.
And that's
well, of course, they're staring at their phone the whole time. But
you get them in.
Yeah, you get them in. That's number one.
Traffic.
I think. I don't know for sure, but I think when you're using the
when you capture one, it gives you a coupon for the store you're in.
There you go.
See?
Yeah.
Man?
No, you're brilliant. You're brilliant. I think, I'm not sure, but I think if you go in, they have the ability, if you're using the mall's free Wi-Fi,
right?
I think they have an ability to send you an ad.
Oh, I'll guarantee that.
So, like you say.
But hey, man, if you could draw them in by the droves.
Because they're banging into each other all over the place. Too bad. This will teach you how to walk.
That's right.
So, anyway, I'm done with that one.
All right.
Are we done, or do you got anything more that's...
Let's see. How long? We've gone 45 minutes already.
Okay.
So...
you want to go more? I've got more.
Well, maybe you got anything, one last one we'll do, or what? What do you got?
Okay, I think I might have chatted about this one. Let me just see here.
Or we can wrap it up and
I got one thing here that is actually kind of important.
Okay, uno mas.
Uno mas, yeah.
Okay, we're back.
Stocks lower as Fed comments raise chance of near-term rate hike.
Wait, say it again?
Okay, there's a chance. Apparently, the stock market fell off because somebody in the Fed, I think it was the New York Fed guy, president or whatever, he said,
intimated it's a possibility of a chance
of Janet Yellen, doing another quarter point. Because right now the Fed is interbank loan is 0.25%. It might go to a half.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay, so that was William Dudley and Dennis Lockhart increased the chances of a near-term rate hike, and of course it affects the market. And what they said was the chances of September interest rate hike from the Fed rose on Tuesday after New York Fed President Dudley, that was yesterday, backed an increase sooner rather than later. The Fed is edging towards the point in time where it will be appropriate, I think, to raise interest rates further. And so the last time they raised rates in decades, of course, was last December. And that was the 0.25 point, and things went up and down and all around. So they're thinking that the economy is on improvement and so forth. Let me just tell you this. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay, and what's amazing about it is how stupid they are because they've had essentially zero interest rates, the Fed, for almost 8 years now as the stimulus, right? And you can point to all the stock market is doubled and tripled or whatever, and the unemployment, the government touted unemployment rate is 4.5% or 5%, which doesn't take into account all the people that are not working, and it also counts people that are part-time. So when and they're bragging about how the economy is just growing by leaps and bounds, and inflation is under control, and of course the Fed wants 2% inflation, and if anybody watching this video thinks that we haven't had 10% in the last 8 years minimum, you're crazy. I mean, we have, and so these people are dreaming if they think there's going to be, because the moment that would happen, you would see that would be the bubble, the pin that would bust the balloon if they really raise the rates. And one of the reasons is because in the last 8 years, the public debt, federal debt, has risen from $9 to $19 trillion. There's interest on that debt, and a lot of it was issued at very low rates. If the rates start to go up, that's going to create havoc, shall we say, especially on anything new. And the interest on that, which is now currently running around $330 billion, or I guess that's like 8% of the budget, could skyrocket to 15% of the budget, which is already borrowing money at the rate of $500 billion a year. They would have to, use another credit card to pay off that credit card every month. So anyway, I think next Wednesday, a week from today, is when Janet takes the floor and announces her wiggly words again about why maybe this and maybe that. And I'm telling you right now, no.
Yeah, and I want to concur with that, and I want to bring up two words in the English language. forward and guidance.
Right.
Now, obviously, Janet and crew don't know what these words mean because apparently they can project out that there's going to be this increase, and time after time after time, it doesn't happen. And if you look at the discrepancy between what the Fed has projected, their guidance forward, and what actually happened, it's incredibly bad. It's horrendous.
It's not even close.
Not even close. And here's the thing. How these people still have their jobs
Unbelievable.
after being so wrong every single month. The only explanation is that they're doing exactly what their rulers, what their leaders, what their commanders are telling them to do, which is don't do anything, damn it. Leave it like it is, and hope to God the animal spirits get rekindled somehow in some sort of magic undercurrent of whatever emotion, because we're flooding the market with this free money.
Yeah.
And it's at some point they're going to have to admit, at least.
Well, I don't think they ever will admit it. I mean, they're in too deep. And of course, the old rule is if you're in a hole, stop digging. If you want to get out, well, they're going to add another $500 billion this year.
Yeah.
$526 billion or something they said, and they've seen those deficits, annual deficits.
If you're in a hole, call a few more diggers down.
Yeah. No,
buy a digging machine.
I just don't see. It is interesting to see how they. I mean, these people are PhD economists.
Well, interesting. Pardon me. Janet Yellen's husband is a Nobel Prize winning economist.
Oh.
He wrote a 12-page paper to get that Nobel Prize.
In economics.
Right.
Not a tome like Friedrich Hayek had to do.
Yeah,
or anything.
800 pages. No.
12 pages.
This is like a middle school essay. Okay, it's called The Case for Lemons, and it's about used cars, and it is so simplistic in its arrangement. It literally, to me, looks like somebody ripped it off of I'll write your essay for $20.
They went to Fiverr.
Yeah, they went to Fiverr, and they got this essay, and he has won the Nobel Prize for it. So this is the level. They can say PhD, whatever they want, wherever they got their PhD, whatever gumball machine they got their PhD from, it doesn't count.
Insert coin.
That's it.
PhD.
That's it. I'll take PhD. Hold for your pictures. And no. That's what these people obviously are endowed with, because they. I'm with you. The inaccuracy of their projections is legendary at this point.
Well, last December they were touting 3.5% for the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're at, by government statistics, which are suspect, we're looking at 1.5. That's like less than half of what they projected.
I'm with you. And every time you see these things come out, these statistics like the unemployment number or the new numbers for jobs and stuff, and they're off by 100%. 100%. That's a huge margin of error.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that means you were totally wrong. Yeah. Totally.
And they are. Let me tell you, next Wednesday, the press and the Congress are going to hang on every syllable that she testifies, and they're going to say, well, thank you.
They're going to have the body language readers out there and everything.
That's right.
Because
the syllable parsers.
That's right. Because what else can they do? They're waiting for that clue that she's actually going to do something, instead of just come out and say, yes, we are, and then definitely not. And
she's not going to ever do it.
Well, it'll be interesting. They did the one quarter point that December.
In December, yeah. Well, that was one of those political decisions, obviously, because I think she was literally dragged kicking and screaming into that, because the results were.
Well, this December it'll be after the new election.
That's true, and of course, who gets in will make a big difference.
It could very well. Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that.
Yep.
Okay, well, I think that's a good show we had today.
Yep.
Jimmy Doane Show, and you can catch us obviously on YouTube. Don't forget to share. We'll be back here tomorrow at 4 o'clock as well.
Mm-hmm. And catch Jimmy on his little rant at 10 a.m. on Facebook.
Right, that's right. I got a usually an under 10-minute rant. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning on Facebook. So you tune in. We're slowly building the folks that are tuning in. This is great. All right, thank you.
Oh, you're not gonna get music today. See you tomorrow.